It's the time of the year that people are making lists and checking it twice and looking forward to 2025. And I thought it would be a good time for me to put in my requests to the large camera companies for my hopes and dreams for 2025. I just did an Nikon. Spoiler alert, I'm going to be doing Canon as well, so keep an eye out for that. But without further ado, these are some of the things that I would like to see out of Sony in 2025. First off, Sony, let me just say, with the year that you just had, it's time to get your shit together. You used to be the company that was pushing the envelope more and more every basically release. You didn't seem to care about your older cameras when it comes to what new features you were going to put in to your newer cameras, even to the detriment sometimes. I think that some firmware updates would have been very nice to have in some of your more expensive cameras, at least like the Alpha 1 and even this A7S 3, because there was a lot of different things that you did afterwards that really rubbed a lot of people the wrong way. But I think you have a bigger problem on your hands now. It seems like you're not hungry anymore to be the leader. It seems like you're pretty complacent with your spot in the camera industry. You have been working on, admittedly, some great lenses that are not only sharper, but smaller than the competition. But that's about it. When it comes to your cameras, the Sony Alpha 1 Mark II was a huge, complete disappointment in my mind and in the mind of a lot of people that I've seen around this circle of the internet that we occupy. And I think the most disappointing part is usually the flagship sets the standard for what you can see over the next few years. And if it's basically what we've seen over the last few years, then I don't know, it's going to be a long time before we see some true innovation. Yes, you were the first one to bring out a global shutter this year, which I will not take away from you. I think it was a monumental achievement. But I do not suspect that global shutters will become a mainstay with some of the compromises that had to be made. I can see maybe an A9 Mark IV having a very great global shutter, but that's years and years down the road. And I am just curious of where your cameras are going. I would like to see you be more bold, be more hungry, and innovate like you used to. Another grievance I have with Sony at the moment is, even though they've been praised for having an unlocked mount for a very long time, allowing autofocus from multiple different companies, allowing Sigma and Tamron to create some spectacular lenses. They were some of the first people to really be doing that at that level of integration. But ever since then, it seems like now that you have your lens lineups, you've kind of started to arbitrarily put limits on third-party lenses. I think you could only shoot up to like 15 frames per second with any third-party lens. And it's okay if maybe their lens aren't fast enough to actually keep up with your first-party lenses, but let them push it as fast as they're able to and as fast as your cameras will allow it. I think it's very disappointing that if somebody buys a very expensive camera, then that means that they are 100% locked in to your G Masters in order to get the best of the best experience for those cameras. Maybe your first party lenses are ahead of everybody else. And if that's the case, then don't worry about adding these arbitrary limitations. I believe focus breathing compensation has only been available on your first party lenses. So from a company that was so open in the past, I would like to see you open up more than what you have been lately. Now, I know you have more cameras down the pike, and one that has been heavily rumored and speculated on is the Sony A7 V, which you really have a golden opportunity to go back and return to form with this camera. The A7 III, when it came out, it blew everyone away. It was universally praised pretty much by everyone. It's really what put you on the map and made you a real high-end competitor. You've had some great cameras before then, but I think that was what really propelled you to a completely different level. And not every since then. You've had some big wins as well, but I do think the A7 IV, it just wasn't a big step up. And right now you've seen what the competition has done in that price range with the Nikon Z6 Mark III. Canon is highly rumored to bring out the Canon R6 Mark III this year. And I think it is your turn to really show everybody what you can do. I don't want to see you hold back because of your lack of innovation with the A1 Mark II. I want to see you push further and further ahead as much as you can in that price range. I think a stacked sensor at this point is a necessary thing. The A7 IV had one of the slower sensors in the price range. I think that was a big negative against that camera. I think you have a great opportunity to push the industry forward, and I really hope to see that with the A7 V. Moving on to another camera that probably will be coming out sometime this year is the FX3 Mark II, or maybe even the A7S IV if you're going to continue that line. I'm not sure. But with the FX3 Mark II, what I would really like to see are some true cinema features out of that camera. I would like to see internal NDs if you can make that happen. At least have some waveform and scopes, and maybe even false color if you could do that. Have open gate, maybe even have some form of RAW if you can figure out the legality with a Nikon on that one. And with that newer increased light sensitivity sensor that was released a couple years back, or was announced a couple years back, I think it's maybe been in one of the iPhones so far. If you could bring that tech to that camera, then you would be able to have similar to the same low light performance as a 4K camera with a 24 megapixel 6K camera. And I really hope that that's the case, and that's what you're working on for an FX3 Mark II. But those are just my wishes for Sony. Drop in the comment section below and give me some of your wishes. You think there's something that I'm completely missing here? Maybe like an APS-C high-end camera. I know a lot of people would be interested in that. Let me know all that in the comment section below. If you've liked this video, really consider subscribing. It would help out the channel tremendously. Like this video, do all the stuff. Until next time, peace.